Okay, here is 19 through 22. So, all right, so 19 and 20, we're just basically looking at if it is a function or not. So when we're worrying about if it's a function, you really want to focus on, your inputs versus your outputs, okay? So the easiest way is to really look at it and go, okay, we got 0, -4, -5, and 6. So each of these inputs has a different output, and we don't have any repeated inputs. So yes, it is a function. All right. Now let's look at this one. We have 0 to -2, 0 to -3, 0 to 5, and 0 to 7. So now this one, the inputs all have different outputs, okay? So if the inputs have different outputs, it is not a function, all right? So for every input, there's one output that is our function, all right? If inputs have more than one output, it is not a function, okay? Not a function. So that's that. So 21 and 22. I don't know why some of these trip you guys up, but they're really not that bad. So these are just plug it in, plug it in. So for 21, we're looking and we have -1/3 x squared plus 1. So the function of -1/3 x squared plus 1. So now we want to find f of 9. So for this, all we have to do is just plug in 9 for x. So we go -1/3 times 9 squared plus 1. -1/3 times 81 plus 1. -1/3 times 81 is going to get us -27. Plus 1, and that will get us -26. For 22, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we have the function of x is 2/5 x squared plus 8, and we want to find the function of -10. So we're going to plug in -10 for x. So we have 2/5 times -10 squared plus 8. If you're plugging this into your calculator, please make sure that you do it like one thing at a time, kind of like I'm doing here. So I have -2/5 times 100 plus 8. 100 divided by 5 is 20 times 2 is 40. So I have 40 plus 8, and that gets me 48. Ta-da! And that's 19 through 22. All right, so now we're on 23 and 24, where we're going to find the x and y intercepts of 2x plus 5y equals -10 and 4x plus y equals 5. So when we're finding the intercepts, you guys, all we're doing is we're plugging in 0 for one variable, and then we are going to plug in 0 for the other as well. So let's start with plugging in 0 for x. So I'm going to say 2 times 0 plus 5y equals -10. That cancels out, and we have 5y equals -10. Divide by 5. Then y equals -2. So the y-intercept is going to be 0, -2. And then we're going to do the same thing for the x-intercept. So notice how I'm plugging in 0 for y this time. So that will cancel out, and I'm going to have 2x equals -10. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X equals -5. So then the x-intercept is going to be 5, 0. So my answer for 23 will be 0, -2 and -5, 0. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the next one. 24. All right, so I have -4x plus y equals 5. So I'm going to have my two equations and I'll plug in 0. So -4 times 0 plus y equals 5. That cancels out, so we just have y equals 5. Then I'm going to plug in 0 for y, so I have -4x plus 0 equals 5. -4, that cancels out, so I have -4x equals 5. Divide both sides by -4. My x is going to be -5/4. So my two intercepts are going to be -5/4, 0 for x and 0, 5 for y. All right. All right, so now we're going to do, okay, so we're going to write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form that is parallel to 2x minus 3. And okay, so first we want to know that slope-intercept is going to be y equals mx plus b. All right, and so if we have a parallel slope, it's going to be the same. However, if we have a perpendicular slope, it's going to be the opposite reciprocal. Some fancy cursive there. Okay, so for 25, we're looking at a slope that is parallel to this line. So we need to find the slope of that line, and how we can do it is we just put it into slope-intercept form. So first we have to figure out what the slope is. So we have 2x minus 3y equals -3. So then what we're going to do is we're going to move the 2x to the other side. And we're going to have -3y equals -2x minus 3. Then we're going to divide everybody by -3. And we're going to get y equals positive 2/3 x plus 1. So remember, we want a line that is parallel to this line. So if we're asking this, all we really care about is this slope. Okay, so we figured out that the slope was 2/3, and it's going to be passing through this. So one way that we can do that is we can plug it into y equals mx plus b, and we can solve for b. So we're going to plug in the point -7, 10, and we're going to plug in the slope 2/3. So we're going to go 10 equals 2/3 times -7 plus b. And so 10 equals -14/3 plus b. And now we want to isolate b by adding 14/3 to both sides. If the fractions really dearly, truly upset you, you can always rely on your CAS mode to save your butt. So 10 plus 14 divided by 3, oops, and that gets you 44/3. As a rule of thumb, always just leave it as a fraction. So 44/3 equals b. So now we know what our b is and we know what our slope is. So for 25, our answer is y equals 2/3 x plus 44/3. And it's in slope-intercept form. And that's that.